The state of tourism in Iceland would not be where it is today were it not for two things: a financial crisis in 2008 and a volcano eruption in 2010. Negative sentiment towards the country was high, and something needed to be done to turn things around and capture the attention of the world in a positive way. In 2010, the Trade Council of Iceland, Invest in Iceland, and the Icelandic Tourist Board consolidated their efforts to promote Iceland. Over 100 companies worked with the government of Iceland and the city of Reykjavik to form this private public entity. This was the last-ditch effort to save the country's faltering economy and reputation. Promote Iceland created a subsidiary marketing arm called Inspired by Iceland. Dedicated to promoting the tourist experience on social media, it features homegrown stories and people. Over the last 7 years, campaigns have differed. However, their overall look and tone remains the same: quirky, informal, even silly at times. This light, comical, accessible human touch has proved to be extremely successful in attracting tourists from around the world. But what happens when your marketing strategies are too successful and a developing infrastructure can't keep up with demand? What happens when your campaigns are too quirky and your audience doesn't take your message seriously? Using a porta potty as a storage locker, ignoring repeat warnings to stay away from the hot water spewing out of the geyser, harming natural landscapes. These are just a few incidents of poor behavior as displayed by Icelandic tourists. There seems to be a disconnect between how Iceland is marketed and the realities related to traveling through this rugged landscape. Enter 2016's Iceland Academy. Viewers watch the tutorials and earn badges and other incentives. This June, the Icelandic Pledge was launched to complement the Academy in the hopes of creating an army of responsible tourists. Sign the contract for a chance to win a trip. Hashtag Icelandic Pledge on all platforms. The Icelandic Pledge on Facebook was managed at arm's length. When the campaign launched on June 16th, followers shared negative and positive experiences amongst themselves. Inspired by Iceland did not interject even once to clarify misguided statements. This was a missed opportunity to connect with an engaged community. On June 29th, the Icelandic Pledge promotional video was released. Followers continued to comment. The community manager stepped in only 2 times to offer suggestions on how to travel responsibly. This would have been an opportune time to discuss infrastructure growth and other initiatives planned to accommodate the influx of tourists. Of the 52 posts featuring Icelandic Pledge, only 2 were from Inspired by Iceland. The rest were posted by affiliated businesses or travel blogs. Bringing partners on board to help build buy-in creates a shared purpose. Behavior change in the community is possible if it comes from different sides using different angles. Examining the Icelandic Pledge hashtag on Twitter also shows very little engagement on the part of the community manager. There are only 69 results featured in the search. Posts range from individuals stating that they've taken the pledge to businesses sharing marketing collateral with a call to action. Once again, Inspired by Iceland is nowhere to be seen. Of the 69 posts, 2 did gain a little traction. The first was the launch of the campaign video. The second came when Inspired by Iceland repurposed an Instagram post by Breaking Bad star Aaron Paul and integrated the Icelandic Pledge hashtag into its messaging. Piggybacking on an influencer is a smart way of tweaking the message to suit need. The juxtaposition of breathtaking locations make the Instagram platform the most effective way to communicate how important it is to travel smart. Only 11 of the 246 posts were developed by Inspired by Iceland. This was another missed opportunity to delve into each aspect of the 8-point pledge in a subtle, visually enticing way. Pledge artwork itself can be found in about 10% of all posts. The outdoor campaign could have been an integral part of the overall strategy. One idea? Use the print billboards to drive people to a VR 360 campaign featuring a spokesperson from Iceland Academy playfully describing one aspect of the pledge in that exact location. Although Inspired by Iceland is effective at making sure influencers have access to conversation-making content, programming around that content is lacking. There are no planned opportunities for Instagram followers to engage with each other around the pledge. There is no dialogue and no learning amongst each other. Just lots of likes. At over 150,000 views, the pledge video on YouTube received less views than its Facebook counterpart at 281,000. YouTube in this case is used more as a repository for content than a channel for engagement and interaction. We are called to join the conversation on 4 of the 6 platforms, but what about Tumblr and Pinterest? One affiliated business, Campervan Iceland, took the opportunity to tag its content with the pledge hashtag on Pinterest. The call to action drove followers to journey with a couple through their 8-day trek in a campervan and consider taking the pledge before booking their own excursion. With 50 followers and little engagement, this was not effective. This splashy Tumblr page is more surface than substance. The last post was 11 months ago. It might be best for the organization to retire the account. Overall, due to the lack of strategy around community management, it seems that the pledge campaign was created at the last minute in reaction to an increase in tourist incidents and local backlash. Although the peak of the pledge campaign has passed, the idea continues to be featured on all digital channels. When I took the pledge and provided my email address, a confirmation appeared on the screen with a call to share the pledge on Facebook. I have yet to receive anything in my inbox and wonder what, if anything, will be done with my contact info. Inspired by Iceland has moved on to another awareness campaign, a catchy tune and lighthearted video called The Hardest Karaoke Song in the World. It was released October 8th, and there are only a couple of instances where tourists are reminded to respect their travel destination. Yet again, a feel-good marketing approach overrides a stern warning. The lack of a more serious tone in marketing Iceland may stem from what Financial Times travel writer Tim Moore calls Iceland's long history of boom and bust and subsequent focus on making hay while the sun shines at the expense of investment. The tourism bonanza, another here today, gone tomorrow phenomenon? Hopefully, this is not the case.